Hi, everyone, aka our husbands, and anyone else that we strong armed into listening to episode 1. Welcome to the Margarita Mamas podcast. I'm Katie,
And I'm Julie.
and we are two besties on a mission to help fellow mamas unwind. Each week, we will chat. I hear a dog. We won't chat dogs.
Really? The
I
timing.
know.
The timing.
He's like, you will not leave me off this list. Each week, we will chat kids. Sorry, Milo, not dogs, and
No.
content. And we will close each episode with a mom hack to help make your life a little easier. First episode, baby, we're doing it.
We're doing
We're
it.
doing the damn thing. So, to start, I think that we should share a little bit about ourselves, maybe a little bit about how we met, and also just our why for wanting to do this. Jules, you're up.
So, my name is Julie. I am a mom of two. I like how that's what I lead with, right?
Identity and all
Always
that. Yeah.
us ladies, yes. I have a 9-year-old girl and a 7-year-old boy. I am also I was going to say family law attorney, but I'm just going to go for it. And I'm just going to say I'm a divorce attorney. Some family practitioners practice in other areas. Let's be real. I mostly handle high net worth divorces. Um, I love what I do. Yeah, I'm a suburban mom, just trying to, get through carpool and work and laundry and, yeah.
Married to a
Oh,
boy
yes.
that has been in love with you for how old are we? 20 some odd years?
Yeah, so last week marked 25 years since we met,
That's
which is
crazy.
pretty absurd and makes me feel super
We are
old.
not that
Like
old.
we're not that old,
No,
but saying 25 years, like that's a
that's a
long
significant amount of
it
time.
can't be 25 years because I'm 25 years old, Katie.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that
The
math doesn't
math ain't
math.
mathin'.
No, it's
I don't know
not.
what to tell you, home slice, other than maybe we're a little older than we thought.
Maybe.
Uh,
We met in utero, obviously.
obviously,
That's what happened.
your parents were pregnant at the same time, and I don't know where I'm
Yep,
going with that,
yep,
but yeah, yeah.
yep. How about you, Katie?
How about me? I have four boys, age range from 2 to 9. Uh, they are wild, they are wonderful, and they force me to find more energy in my day than maybe I am quite ready for. I work in publishing, specifically in audio publishing, and I have for really my entire career when you think about it. And I am married to a nice boy that I met in college named Ben.
I love
We
Benji.
love Benji. He cooks, he does laundry, he's great. And
Truth.
let screw them, those guys though. Let's talk about how we met.
Yes.
Let's get down to the real love story here, folks.
Man, so Katie and I met eons ago, actually when we
Don't
were in
say
high
20.
school.
Don't say 20, but
No, I'm not going to do
I
that to
think
you. I'm
also 20
not going to
something
do
years
it.
ago.
Shh. No one has to hear that.
It's horrible.
Yeah, so we met in high school, freshman year of high school. And the like really crazy thing is, like Katie said, we are besties now. But the really crazy thing is we weren't close in high
We were
school.
not.
Although I did find that random photo in the yearbook of like me giving you a piggyback ride, which was
Which made it look like we were really tight, but
right.
I have no recollection of that moment.
None. None whatsoever.
Yeah.
None.
No, we really didn't hang out. And I think if anything, I saw your husband also went to high school with us. And I think if anything, I maybe saw him more socially than I saw you, but still I wasn't like hanging out with
Yeah.
him or his
Yeah, we
friends on
ran
the
in different
reg.
circles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we did not go to that big of a high school.
No, we didn't. It's
However,
true. We also played different
we
sports.
did. We had
Katie
no.
and I are both, we were both student athletes but our paths never crossed in you know, in the sports arena.
That's true. That's a good point. That makes me feel better
That
about
pun
us.
intended.
Yeah. Oh, hey, hey.
Thank you. Thank
Uh,
you. But we reconnected a year after we had our first kids.
yeah,
Um,
roughly. I.
yeah, Katie stalked me on
Yeah, I'm
Facebook.
proud of it. I stalked
She
them.
liked me.
And now I can't figure out how to work Facebook and only have it in my browser, and Julie is appalled by my graininess
Yes,
there.
I had
But
to help Katie the other day, like find a photograph from 15 years ago,
yeah,
because Katie didn't remember how to use Facebook. And
you know
I,
what?
unlike most millennials, still value Facebook.
You might be
Still
the only
use,
millennial that still values Facebook. But
only one.
apologies if anyone listening has been like, I friended that chick. Well, I couldn't tell you how to
Mm,
even find. I could barely tell you.
no.
I don't really even know where the requests come in on Instagram, but that's neither here nor there. I did. I stalked you. It was 2017. I was still stalking on Facebook, apparently.
Hmm.
And I
Hmm.
saw that you guys and your sweet little girl had moved or were living in the same general area that we were living in. And I was like, you know what? They were really nice. They were, even though we
Yep.
were not friends, they were really nice back in the day. And I love that the two of you ended up together and got married. That made my heart so happy
Yes.
because that was
Yes.
like
Yes.
the unrequited love story of the early aughts that I liked to watch.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep. Yep.
and that was it. Reached out. Both had kids around the
Yeah.
same time, and the
Like we hung
friendship.
out once,
Yeah,
the four of us, and the rest is history. I mean, we
yeah, that was
were,
it.
hanging out all the time.
Can't get rid of
And then
me.
the pandemic hit a couple of years later after we each had two kid, three kid, two, you had
Two.
two.
I was pregnant for
You were
most of the
pregnant.
pandemic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, you were. And we potted together
Yes.
and all the things and inseparable ever since.
Yeah. It's funny that you bring that up because I was thinking about that earlier today, actually. Just again, we can dive into this in another episode, unpack all of my anxiety issues, particularly my health anxiety issues, but just the understanding for my neuroses, and particularly because I was pregnant, that you gave me during that time. It always just makes me tear up, just the like
Got you, girl.
quiet understanding of what I needed during those crazy days. But anyway, now we're stuck for life,
For life.
the life for life.
And we are
Um
Margarita
and we're
Mamas because
Margaret.
we love a good marg. Love a good marg. Yep, yep.
Um why did you want to do this? Why did you want to start as I sip? Why did you want to
So,
do this? What's your
great
why? I
question,
know.
Catherine.
Here for it.
So I think my why is really that I feel like there's a lot of content out there that wasn't hitting home for me.
Mm.
And I felt like especially in our community, if I search out there and I look up, trying to find somebody that whether it's the parent community, or working moms community, I'm not really finding much in the area. And I felt like I have a lot to say. I mean, shocker, right? I have a lot to say. No one can ever accuse me of not wanting to, of being shy. And so I don't know. I just felt like you and I have a lot to give back, a lot that we can kind of impart on other people and share our experiences, whether they want it or
That's what I
not.
was gonna say. I was like, whether they want to hear it or not.
Nope. Nope. Subscribe, unsubscribe. No.
Subscribe
But
again.
subscribe again. And so yeah, I just wanted to give it a shot and see if anybody out there is listening.
Yeah, I agree with all that.
About you.
I agree with all that. I think I would also say that everything just feels really hard right now, and I think we are so dedicated to our jobs, we're so dedicated to our kids, and there's not a lot left over for ourselves and for what we want to do and for us to have fun and even for us to see each other as much as we would like. And so this also just felt like a really nice opportunity selfishly just to get to hang out with you
That's a very good
at
point.
like a with like low bar for entry, we're doing this in our own
Yeah, we're
home,
just having a
having a
drink,
virtual
us
drink. Us
ladies. Yeah.
ladies, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think selfishly too, it's just an opportunity to have a little fun at a time when things aren't always feeling super fun. Even though,
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, it's stuff that we've chosen. I think it's just still, there's so much loss of identity in sort of the early childhood years of motherhood
Yeah.
that just to be able to turn off that part of my brain for a little bit with you is something I welcome.
Yeah, I remember a couple of years ago, and I hate to admit that it was only like a couple of years ago that I first heard the term in the way that it's used today, the term self-care, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
making time,
Yep.
especially in the context of being a parent. And I just remember laughing. I was actually a client who said it to me, and she was, talking about her own self-care, and I was like, "Oh, what's that?"
Can you provide the
And
definition?
yes, what does that look like? And she was talking about meditation and
Mm,
Pilates, and I was just like, "What? Other people do this?"
yeah.
Like, look, you get to go to the gym a couple days a week. That sounds fantastic. But then taking it to a next level and actually, like we're doing right now, and finding something that you're passionate about and having fun with it, which I don't think that I'm passionate or having fun at the gym. So that's why, steer away from that now. To
Yeah.
piggyback off of what you said, Katie, for me, this is definitely an element of self-care.
Yeah.
That and, showering and,
And that's the thing
that's
too.
basically it.
When people are like, showering's not self care. And I'm like, it is when your
Yeah.
bathroom door doesn't lock and you more often than not have visitors in there. Like, if you can shower alone, for me right
Yep.
now, that is self care.
Yep. Yep. My favorite's when I'm in the shower and I just hear, "Hmm."
You reached
I'm not the
so
only adult
high
in the
a
house.
volume that it muted on my end. You
Oh
got to like dog level. But that is,
no. I love it.
that's what it is. Um, well, of course, we're simpatico on this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Truth.
but I think that kind of leads into our first topic and what we're going to talk about every week too, which is kids.
Yep.
Back to school season. We're in the thick of it right now. How is it going in your house? And then I can tell you how it's going in my house.
I showered today, so that's a good
I
day,
showered
right? It's
yesterday.
always a good day. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
It's been really hard. We've got I feel like every year prior to this academic year, we've fallen into a reasonably quick rhythm.
Mm,
And look, we're only what, like 2-ish weeks into the school year, but usually like we've got it down pretty well. This year seems like mass chaos.
mm,
And I think it's just because we've got some new activities going on. Um, I'm used to my son having the same teacher that my daughter had last year, because that has been the rule of thumb for the last 2 years. And that is not the case this year, which is totally fine, but it's just the unfamiliar and sort of getting to know not just one, but now actually two co teachers. So it's just an added thing,
yeah.
add it to the plate, if you will, or to the list. It's just been a lot. My son is now doing a soccer program that's like 3 to 4 days a week, which is that might not sound like a lot, but when you're driving half an hour
Yeah.
to and from school every day, right? He also does taekwondo. My daughter does 3 activities. It's just a lot.
Yeah.
And then again, we go back to like, and where does self care pencil in? Like I have back to school night tonight. That's my self care, is like grabbing a
The car
drink
ride
out
over
on the
there. Yeah.
patio with the other parent. That's but that's the reality of the first few weeks of September. So I'm hoping that things settle down once we kind of get into, like I said, a bit more of a rhythm. But then my husband's travel season picks up, so
Right.
that's gonna work travel season. So that's gonna be fun.
Right.
But
Well, I
you know,
think, this is another sort of post COVID era problem where like after
Mhm.
school care looks very different because, okay, you're sitting there saying, both my kids do three different activities each. You've got the drive back and forth to school, whatnot. You also work full time. I work
Yep.
full time. But the post school childcare is not the same that it was pre 2020. And now we are just burning the candle at both ends, whereas before that just wasn't happening. And I
Yeah.
think corporate America thinks that we're back to that time, but kids and the educational system and the childcare system don't. And,
Yeah.
it's funny too, like when we got called back 5 days a week and uh, My coworker that doesn't have kids, his first reaction was the kids are not going to understand. Like they have had their parents home for 4 years, 5 years. Like who's going to explain it to them that they're
Yep.
not available in the same way? And guess what? That expectation has not actually changed with having to be more present and whatnot. So it's a broken system. I don't have an
Totally. I
answer.
mean, I left, a job. I guess we're at like 3, 4 years ago now because I was being, required to come back into the office, and my kids just looked at me like, "What?"
Yeah.
And they were in school. Don't get me wrong; like my kids were not staying home or being homeschooled or anything like that, but it was an expectation. I went from pre-COVID seeing my kids maybe an hour and a half a day. If
Yep.
I was really lucky, I got one meal with them a day,
Yep.
which in hindsight
Is
just
crazy. Is
boggles my mind. And
crazy.
God bless all you listeners, because there's so many, all you listeners out there who, still do that. It's incredibly, incredibly difficult once you've peeked on the other side of the
Yep.
curtain. And for me, I just couldn't go back.
Yep.
I had shared a part of myself with my kids, and my kids, they were different people to me,
Mm-hmm.
getting to spend so much more time with them. So as I changed law firms and haven't looked back. I'm home 5 days a week, and I count my lucky stars every single day
Yep.
because I am able to do pick up and drop off. And if I want to write a motion or work in the evening, that's what I do. I work whenever I need to
Yep.
work. But it's not like that everywhere, and it's incredibly difficult and damaging, I think, for our society to have this constant back and forth, which we went through for the better part of 3, 4 years, and which is now only getting worse.
Yeah.
It just keeps. I feel like we keep pushing the envelope with these parents, including you, and it's just not tenable.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah. She don't like it.
I don't
She
like
don't
it.
like it.
I don't
Yeah,
like it.
it's I think for us like back to school season in our house right now, our kids are at different schools, which is just like this is this particular season of our life. We're hoping that that changes ideally next year to at least some degree. So it is a ton of driving. Thankfully, all of the drop offs and all of the pickups sort of cascade. So we're okay for now, even though mentally Ben and I are probably hanging on by a thread. I think we've reached that. This is what like maybe the second full week of school.
Full week.
They are exhausted. Like they're, their
Yeah.
little bodies are adjusting now and everyone's sort of realizing like, oh no, we're back in it. This is real. My 7-year-old, I got his like daily schedule the other day and I read it to him and he just stops and he nods and he goes, so 7 hours again, huh? I was
Ooh.
like, yeah, bud, every day.
Love that he's aware of the amount
The
of time
exact
he's away
time.
from
I'm like,
mama.
are you
Hmm.
wearing a watch? Are you just looking at the clock on the wall? What are you doing? So, everyone needs like some solid sleeps this weekend and, you know, navigating the sports schedules. Ben is coaching 2 teams, which is just, nice in theory, a little more difficult in execution. I know you guys are coaching, like that just adds on another
Well, it's tough.
level to the craziness.
It does because, as you coaches out there might know, it's not just about being physically like present on the field or the wood or wherever you're ice, whatever you're doing, right? It's the prep that goes into it. And it's just like more mental gymnastics
Right.
of who's coming to this particular game or practice or where is it going to be? We have to reserve the field. And so I totally get that, and that takes time away from your kids, that Ben would otherwise be able to be present. So it's such a blessing, but it's also a difficulty
Yeah,
for
and I
sure.
think with us too, it's the age gap in our kids, right? Like Ben is being present right now for the older kids who he is
Hmm.
coaching and is seeing a little less of the younger kids. And meanwhile, I am home on a weekend because maybe the youngest needs to nap and so I'm not dragging him an
Yeah.
hour in the rain to go see an away game when he's supposed to be napping. You know, so it's just I feel like we're not able to give like our full attention necessarily out to everyone. And then like I'm
Yeah.
bummed
Well,
because
and
I'm missing games or whatever. I'm paying $6 to watch a streaming of like which is like kind of nice that they're doing it, you know, but still
yeah.
it's not exactly ideal. But
Yeah.
home games this weekend, hoping that I
Woo woo.
get to watch. Text in some sitters
Yes.
to cover nap time. So
Yes. Oh gosh, sitters. That's a great topic, Katie, right? Finding
finding
babysitters.
sitters.
Ladies out there eh, who have children who want to babysit my children.
Hit her up. You
Please.
know what's hard?
Please.
Well, first of all, I should say I have the most wonderful nanny in the entire world, but I also don't want to use her every single time I need
Yeah.
somebody on a weekend because she needs breaks too. Um, but man, high schoolers graduate, and then it's hard to
I
find
am blessed.
replacements.
I have a family of three girls living next door, and so I'm just trickling through. And thank goodness we still have one high schooler for the next 4 years. But, like we're talking about, people have lives, people
Yep,
have their own
they have their own
activities, they have
sports.
their
Yep,
own schedules.
yep.
So it is really difficult. But it's just such a, I don't know, babysitting is just, I feel like when we were kids, Katie, I don't know about you, but like I feel like finding a babysitting gig was a dime a dozen. I can't find
Can't find
babysitters, so I don't
babysitters.
know where you
I think
are,
these kids are over. I
babysitters.
think you hit it on the hit the nail on the head too when you were saying like these kids are overscheduled themselves, so
Yeah.
it's hard to find somebody. But one of our issues is finding someone that can handle four boys. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
that's not something that everyone is going to say yes to doing. Um,
Very true.
yeah, no, the sitter game is tough. It's really tough.
It really is. It really is.
So
Mm. We're all
I was
struggling.
like, DMs are open.
Yeah, for real though. Please. Please.
Maybe we shouldn't say that. Um,
Uh,
but yeah, I think, fingers crossed too that, and back to school, that makes it hard. Like back to school nights. Like there are so many September events that these schools put on. I feel like every time I
yeah.
turn around, there is a school event. And I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah,
let's spread the love
it's
out of September a little bit.
it is really difficult. I feel like they're trying to pack a lot in,
Yeah.
and I get it, right? We've got a lot of new kids joining any school,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And so you want to kind of start up the year strong, but it's a lot.
It's
It's
a
a lot.
lot.
And the seasons are starting in terms of the sports and such,
Right.
right? And just everything is aligning in that post Labor Day hustle.
Yeah.
And it's just really difficult to navigate. I'm hoping October 1 brings us some better news, but
October 3 will with the new Taylor Swift album, but we can save that for a future episode. Have a little concert.
yes.
Speaking of content, speaking of T Swift, I think it's time to move on to the content portion of our episode. And the content portion of the episode is all about
TSITP.
Team
Okay,
Connie,
the summer I turned
baby.
pretty. I am
Connie,
all
baby.
Team Connie. I am all Team Connie day in, day out. And here's why. The connection.
Buckle up. Go make your own drink. Jules has some
Yes.
thoughts about Team Connie.
Mhm. Yes, yes. So, I've got a little bit of not quite a parallel, but I like to think that there is a little bit. My husband and I have known each other since we were 12 years old. And there was always, as Katie said, this like, will they, won't they? And so I see a lot of that in Connie and Belly. And, and the progression from friendship to this kind of other, right? Not quite dating and then going to something at like this kind of in between. Are we dating? What are we? And so I'm so Team Connie. Don't also love, spoiler alert, obviously, if you haven't seen the finale, then that's your fault. That's your fault.
You
But
have
like,
you have like 2 minutes to watch a finale these days because the internet can't handle
yeah,
it.
it's
The
just,
internet has no chill.
yep, it's published.
Yeah.
Yep, no, none. Um, but like this isn't even finale, content, but it's Jer cheating on
Yeah.
Belly. I was just what a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
I was like, really, Jer? Really? I thought we were better than that. But yeah, how did you feel about the finale?
Loaded question.
I know it is.
I felt, well, obviously, Team Conrad. I
Mhm.
felt okay about the finale. I think in some ways it felt a little rushed, and which also kind of makes sense that there's going to be a movie, but I also then feel like, when did this movie decision happen? Because then maybe we could have treated the final episodes a little bit differently. Like, was it just this moment? Did it happen after they had already written and filmed the final episodes that they decided to do the movie? Because it did feel like it was rushed, and it did feel like we were missing certain things. So I read
Yeah.
these books when they first came out. I read these books when I was 20. And I think the show is better. And as a book person, like, it pains me to say that, but I do think that Jenny Han is so wildly talented at writing for television. Like, she has found her medium. Her talent for television is, it's amazing. Chef's kiss.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
good. And she really is tapping into something with girlhood. She understands the millennial audience like
That's
none
like a whole
other.
other thing, right? Like the amount of millennial women that are obsessed with watching these teenage
Well, and here's the thing. I think, again, it's
romances.
because we were
It's true.
20 when these books
Yep.
came out. We were Belly's age when these books first came out. And so there is definitely a big portion of us that had read these, in sort of like late childhood, early adulthood. But then also, I think Jenny is like borderline millennial Gen X. Like, I'm not quite sure how she identifies, but
Mhm.
she was definitely writing YA for millennials when these books were coming out.
Yes.
So she knows what she's doing. She the whole thing too, because in the books, Belly's like a broad trip is actually Spain. Making this
Mhm.
Paris is so millennial coded, like,
So millennial.
so millennial coded. Having the girl go to Paris, it just like
Mhm.
heals so much,
Mhm.
2010s trauma in our 2010s, or earlier than that even, trauma in
Yes, it
our
was.
lives. And then throw in the Taylor Swift of it all, just like the perfect song at every
Yes.
moment that is happening
Yes.
throughout this series. But I think there's been something so nice about, like, the collective investment in this show and having people get excited. And again, we're a generation that grew up on, like, Team Edward versus Team Jacob,
Yes.
or Team Peeta versus Team Gale. Like, we are
Yeah.
a teams generation. And so
Absolutely. So we
having
needed
we
somebody to root
needed
for.
someone to root for.
And hopefully you made the right
Hopefully you made
choice.
the right choice. I'm sorry. If anyone in your life was Team Jeremiah, that's just like, it's a red flag zone. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Totally.
Like, you have
Totally.
to
Totally.
know.
Totally.
You have to know what
I
team
think
you're on.
there's, yes. And I think there's also something to be said about the vulnerability of, I don't know whether to call them boys, men, boy, whatever,
Boys
the
too.
male, boys to men. I think when we grew up, the older programming for adults was not centered on or at all showing male vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
And that is 100% our generation, what we appreciate, thrive
Yeah.
on. I don't know what the right, kind of terminology is, but,
Yeah. We want to see
con,
someone do the work. You know what I mean? You
yes,
want to see someone do the
yes,
work, to know that they have to work on
yes.
themselves. And I think
And Connie,
he
you did the,
he did the work.
he
He
really
went to
did. He really
therapy.
did.
And I
Yeah,
do, I think people right now, I think, are actually struggling a lot more with, like, Belly maybe not doing the work, and Conrad actually having, like, the full emotional arc of really
absolutely.
growing up. I
Yeah.
think,
Let's talk
yeah,
about that, right?
yeah,
So in the finale, Belly is, to say wish-washy sounds like I'm downplaying her emotional roller coaster that she endures in those final, 20 minutes. But, you know, they're in her bedroom in Paris. You've got the background right above the bed overlooking, the beautiful Parisian landscape, just stunning,
Yep.
gorgeous. And Conrad, professes his steadfast, undying love for Belly. And she's just like, meh. And she's not there yet,
Yeah.
right? And she says that to him, I'm just not where you are, Conrad. But then 5 minutes later, she's there.
Yeah.
And look, we've all had those moments, right, where we're just, we think we make a decision and then we really make the decision,
Yeah.
whether it's having to do with a romance or your kids or what you want to order from the restaurant, whatever the case may be.
Choice
But I
paralysis.
just thought it was a little bit flippant, and I thought I didn't love it.
It was too fast. It was too fast.
It was.
And I think
It was.
I think there were opportunities to kind of smooth that over, because I think when he says forever, and the look on her face, it felt like The Graduate, right? Like if you were going to do the
Oh,
movie, you could have
yeah.
ended it there. You could have ended it right
Yeah.
there and been like, "Oh my gosh, well, are they actually going to make it?" Because she's clearly wondering. And
Yeah.
you do, and I think you can respect that Belly has really made a life for herself in Paris. And so she's concerned about how consuming this love has been for her in the past, and is this love going to take over again and kind of like take away her identity. So I understand her nerves popping up in that moment. This boy is ready for forever after one night, which isn't fair, but like, then to kind of move into what's really bothering her is, do you really love me, or is it because your mother, who is now gone, always wanted us to end up together? Which again feels valid. But
Mm.
I think that could have been resolved. Have him give a speech. And if she says, like, I don't have as much like faith as you do, then he can just say back, like, I will help you. Like, I will, let me show up for
Yeah.
you.
I'll
Let
let me
me
show.
show
Yeah.
you that this is real. And they
Right.
kind of like, they're nervous, but they say, okay. And they walk into this together. But for her to say, I'm nervous,
Hmm.
and him to be like, all right, cool, I'm catching the 5 a.m. to Brussels. Like the whole
Yeah.
thing, I'm like, you know what? If it leads
It
to a
was. It
chase
was.
scene with Out of the Woods, I'm not that mad. But it just, it was messy. It was messy.
It was
It was
rushed. It was
rushed.
abrupt. It
Yeah.
was.
That chase scene, though, the anxiety that I had, where I was like, where's her passport? Where is her phone? Where's her wallet? How is she?
Only you,
I was
Katie.
like, she is crossing a border. She is going to get in trouble if she doesn't have her passport on hand to go from France to Belgium. Like,
Yep. Yep.
I'm a
Yeah. I
planner.
did
I'm a
wonder how she
planner.
was going to pay for the taxi, but I'm a millennial,
How did
so
she
the
pay for?
notion of Apple
But you can
Pay
tap,
didn't
fine. But I did not see a phone. There was no
didn't
phone that was
cross my
weighing down those
mind. There
baggy
was no
jeans.
phone.
There was no
No.
phone.
No. No. So from a practical perspective,
Yeah.
Jenny, no.
Like, where, even just like a little like cross bag,
Yeah, put a
a little
crossbody on that girl.
satchel.
Maybe there's a passport in there. We don't know.
Yes.
I want to talk about that Christmas montage.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry to clap in the microphone. Um, why? Why did we have a Christmas in Paris montage? Is this connected to a future movie?
Yeah.
Who took these pictures of Conrad and Belly from a
Thank you.
distance?
Great questions.
Who was it? Benito?
Benito.
Was it
With his little
Benito,
camera.
the photographer? I sure hope it was.
Benito.
Poor guy. Poor
Poor
Benito.
Benito. R.I.P. Couple of things. And this is, again, where like the internet is problematic. But there are photos on the internet of Steven and Jer in Paris from last summer, around the time when they were filming. So I was sort of like, I was expecting to see them at some point in Paris.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, maybe something Christmassy is happening. Maybe they're all there for it. Maybe Steven snaps those pics. Maybe Taylor snaps those pics.
Sure.
I watched like a little clip. The stars and Jenny Han were all on the Today Show. And I've been like just watching some of the clips, and they're like, the hosts said something along the lines of, okay, so when is this movie coming? 2026, 2027? And they were like, not 2026. And I was like, why is nobody asking 2025?
Right.
My like tin hat theory is that this thing is in the can, filmed, done, dusted, and this is a December release. I also don't feel like we
Ooh.
necessarily got the answer to the 14. And so in my
Yes.
head, I'm like, and there's also been so much around the number 12 too. So in my head, I'm like
What's
12,
the 14,
14.
Katie? Explain
There
to
was
our
like
viewers.
Easter eggs throughout, something to do with the number 14. And there is a scene, there's a Valentine's Day scene in the books that's very critical that everyone thought in some capacity we would get in the finale, and we didn't.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We didn't get the wedding. We didn't get the proposal. This all happens in the books. And we did not get Savannah's letter to Belly, which is also in the
Yes.
books. So
But
in
she hasn't gotten
she
married
hasn't
yet.
gotten married
She's
yet.
supposed to
Yes,
open it on her wedding
on her
day.
wedding day. And
And we haven't had that.
in my head, Jenny Han is just such a mastermind. I can't imagine her filming the finale the way that she did, not knowing that a movie was coming
Yeah.
to give
But
everyone
maybe
this
that is
stuff.
the Easter egg,
Right.
right? Is the Christmas in Paris with
Yeah.
a circa
Yeah.
early December
She
release
did say
date.
something today like, oh, we still have to film it, but like, I don't buy it. But then, all right, I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
stop tin hatting in a second. But then someone was like, all of a sudden, Chris Briney, who plays Conrad, all of a sudden he has like the dumb Conrad haircut again.
Hmm.
And they're like, maybe he's getting ready. But I think December 14th, I think 12/14. That's my prediction. I think we're getting it this year.
Oh, I love
I think we're
that.
getting it this year.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That would be profound. Or it could be a Valentine's release early next year.
Could be.
What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of the nod to the Valentine's Day scene. Yeah, I don't know.
We'll see. In the meantime,
We will.
we can rewatch. We can find
Yes.
other
Yes.
things to obsess
Hmm.
over in the meantime.
Yes. Yes. I did want to just really quick say I loved the Jenny Han sign off note to viewers.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we don't often get that.
Yeah.
Actually, we never get that really, from writers. And I appreciated that given her background and that she wrote the books. And it really was like a
Yeah.
journey that we saw with Belly, both throughout her young adulthood, but also this journey like from book to show to movie
Yeah.
eventually. And so I really appreciated that. I wanted to get your take on that note because I thought it was really heartfelt.
I loved it. And I think that Jenny is someone that truly loves her audience. She loves her readers. She loves her listeners. She loves her viewers. And I think that yes, she loves her characters and she wants to honor them and do right by them. But I think at the end of the day, she's always keeping her audience in mind. And to me, it made perfect sense coming from her. And I just hope that she keeps creating. You know, I loved To All the Boys I've Loved Before. I loved the spinoff Exo Kitty. We are going to get another
So good.
season of Exo Kitty, which is so exciting. So I just love what she is doing in that space. I hope she creates an original show. I hope she does, you know, Exo
Yeah.
Kitty kind of is, but it's also that spinoff. So I just hope we get more from her.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I
Fingers crossed.
agree. Fingers crossed. Hopefully, we get something,
Yeah.
and I would love to see a TSITP by the end of the year. That'd be great. That'd be
More
great.
joy, please. Thank you.
Yes, yes. It would be a perfect Parisian Christmas.
Amen.
Well, here at Margarita Mamas, part of our mission is to make sure that the mamas out there feel loved and special, and we want to provide you with a little bit of a mom hack, if you will.
Yes.
And so at the conclusion of each of our episodes, we are going to provide you with what we're calling a little Margarita Mama hack. And Katie, do you want to explain our very first?
Yeah, I do. So this hack is going to sound so silly and it's going to sound so simple. And it's actually something that I stole from my brother watching him grow up, and that has come in handy parenting boys in particular. At night, you're getting these kids washed. Maybe they're showering at the end of the day after sports, probably not going right to bed. Bedtime comes, time to brush your teeth, you're fighting them. It's horrible. You know what you do? Brush your teeth in the shower. Brush the teeth in the shower. They can spit right in the drain. keep it as
I
part
love
of the
that.
routine, and it
Yeah.
simplifies the fight that is happening later when it's time for bed and everyone's tired and they don't want one more little chore, little task.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
if you're showering your kids at the end of the day, make them brush their teeth in the shower.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
Simple,
Love it.
simple, simple. But this was so fun, and I
It
love getting
was.
to spend time with you. And
Neat.
you all too, for anyone out there listening. But we will be dropping new episodes every Monday. And next week, we are tackling the age old millennial question: where's our village? Where is it?
For you. Hopefully you're
Hopefully,
listening.
you're out there. But thank you all for spilling the tequila with us, and we will see you next time.
Bye.